Live now. Brought to you by S&S Discount Tire and JR's Sports Bar and Grill.
Hello again, everyone, and good Tuesday evening. Welcome in to this, the latest edition of Sportz Blitz Live. I am Andy Graham alongside Luke Robinson and Brett Pritchard. We'll be with you for the next 2 hours discussing everything going on in the world of sports. I believe this will be our last live broadcast of the year.
So, scared me for a second. don't have a big pause in there between
this
last
will be our last
of
eternity broadcast of the year. So if we're going to talk about Auburn versus Oklahoma, if we're going to talk about Alabama versus Washington, this would be the night to do it. But there is a lot going on in the world of sports, of course. Bowl season is underway. The Boca Raton Bowl going on tonight. I kind of wish I was in Boca Raton. This cold weather we've been having is killing me. But nonetheless, there have been some decent bowls on. I don't know if anybody's ever, I watch them all. But I know a lot of people think 40 bowls might be too many. But hey, it puts college football on the air at least almost every day of the week. So I'm okay with it, to be quite honest with you. To play or not to play, that is the question, at least for a lot of college football players these days. Some have announced that they're foregoing playing in the bowl game. That's been a huge topic of conversation this past week. We'll talk about that. I'd love to get your guys' opinion about that. I think we all know. We understand why this is happening, but whether you fall, maybe a lot of people don't like it, or some people don't like it a lot more than others. Of course, we'll do the Auburn Blitz. Austin Wiley makes his debut as he graduates early from high school in a dramatic win, Auburn over Mercer. Again, like I said, we'll talk about Auburn versus Oklahoma. We'll talk about the Alabama Blitz. Alabama not quite as fortunate as they fell to Clemson this past week, 67-54, now 500 on the season. But the playoff, Alabama versus Washington, a huge game. We'll break down some of those numbers. I'll be honest, I was a little surprised when I looked at the numbers of how good Washington's defense actually is. So I think a lot of people figure Alabama's going to walk away with this one pretty easy. I don't know. It might be one of the more interesting games of the playoff. We'll have to wait and see. But gentlemen, good to see you tonight. Anything particularly you want to start with? You just want to me?
I think you have to start with the Christian McCaffrey, Leonard Fournette situation. Honestly, it's
we'll just carry over the conversation that Scott and Adam had.
That's right. That's right. But I think that is a key element to college football on the whole. You think about what this could mean, and this is exactly what I was scared of when we had the playoffs. Okay, and even when we started going to BCS and now the playoffs, and the playoffs will morph into more teams in the playoffs, and eventually what you'll see is somebody like a Jonathan Allen or a Reuben Foster or maybe even a Cam Newton or somebody like that sitting out a big rivalry game at the end of the season. Yeah. I don't think there's any doubt about it. In the NFL, you have a lot of teams, the last two games, all they do is sit starters with these made-up ailments that they have. I was also thinking about it in the context of college football versus college basketball. Everybody loves to say college basketball, well, they decided on the court. First of all, not really. I mean, it's whoever gets hot at the end, and you have this huge amalgam of teams that don't deserve to be there, number one. Number two, I like college football having the best regular season in sports. It's not close. You look at the Kentucky North Carolina game in college basketball this past weekend was awesome, right?
Yeah, it was.
Next year, we won't remember that because it wasn't a tournament game. You only remember college basketball games that were tournament games. You only remember NFL games that were playoff games. And I don't want college football to get that way. We could probably all sit here and go back Iron Bowl through Iron Bowl through Iron Bowl. You guys could do it for Auburn, Georgia. I could do it for Alabama, Tennessee, or Alabama, LSU. And because the regular season means so much and we have pride in it, if it comes down to the only thing that matters is getting in the playoff, and if you're not in the playoff, you might as well take the day off. I don't like that.
Well, let's start here, just at the beginning of this. Christian McCaffrey, Leonard Fournette, two stars that are going to be – Leonard Fournette certainly, no doubt, a first-rounder. Christian McCaffrey, more than likely a first-rounder, if not a high second-rounder. It was announced, I think, today, Shock Linwood, running back from Baylor, is going to sit out. He's not even going to be drafted in the first 2 days, much less the first 2 rounds. So is this going to be in the future an epidemic?
Well, let me just add my take on this, and I've thought about it since it really kind of broke yesterday. And I'm going to ask both of you this question, and you just give me your answer. What were bowl games designed to do back in the inception? I'll let you go first, Luke. What are they? What is a bowl game?
A bowl game to me, when they were first became more and more popular, was just a reward at the end of the season. If you remember, in '73, Alabama infamously won a national championship because the bowl game between Notre Dame didn't matter.
It didn't matter. Andy, same thing?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
That's the incentive.
A bowl game is a reward for a good season. Well, now that there's 1 million of them, everybody, you got 500 records. LSU plays at 11 o'clock on New Year's Eve in the morning. Mm-hmm. Leonard Fournette, I'm going to defend him a little bit here. He kind of excused his way through the season after he had that, I'm not going to play, and then he gave the Alabama game a shot, and then it didn't work out for him, and he's kind of excused his way on through. LSU is sitting at an opportunity to win 8 games or stay with 7 wins this year. Not going to mean a hill of beans. Now, Leonard Fournette has a lot to lose playing in this game if he gets hurt. Christian McCaffrey is the same way. Now, the kid at Baylor, I don't get that. But those, and again, what we're saying that bowl games are rendered useless. Well, pretty much they've always been useless. They've been a reward for a team having a good season, and that's where we gotta go back to the roots of that and remember that. Now the playoff, again, I don't want to say that you're going to lose interest. It's not going to stop anybody from watching Auburn, Oklahoma, or watching the Rose Bowl, or watching whatever it is out there. People are still going to watch, like Andy said, college football games in the bigger bowls, but the playoff is designed to help decide a national champion. So I don't have a problem with some of these stars, because you look at the kid at Notre Dame last year.
I know.
He may have ruined his opportunity. When you've got that much on the line, you're a guy like that, and your team. Look, I'm not advocating somebody just bowing out and saying, "Look, okay, I'm looking," but it is a business decision at that point.
Okay, first of all, I have no problem. I get exactly why they're doing this. Okay, I'm not faulting the kid.
Yeah.
My point is, I'm not afraid of where we are at this moment. I'm afraid of where we're headed. I'm afraid of if you start sitting out the Iron Bowl, just like if Dallas and Washington or the Giants in Washington play at the end of the season this year, those are, I'm trying to think of big NFL rivalries. Yeah. Or Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. Let's say that's a good one, because Cincinnati's kind of out of it. Pittsburgh's in it, but they will probably have it clinched by then. And while they're going to sit Roethlisberger, they're going to sit everybody. I don't want Alabama to sit Jalen Hurts to get ready for the playoff, which they could have done this year, Brett. They could have done this. Alabama, with a loss to Auburn, still could have beaten Florida and been in the playoffs and been hunky-dory.
Well,
that's scary.
We've begged for this. This is the system that we've begged for, and this isn't 1985. This is 2016, about to roll into 2017, and you and I and Randy and now Andy have talked about this numerous times on our program. It's all about the dollar, isn't it? That's what. And I remember very, very vividly saying, I think sometimes we need to understand that we're all selling ourselves out to make money, but at the end of the day, that's what drives everything, and the TV ratings and all that. But what we end up at the end of the day finding out is we're really not happy with the system we've begged for, and it won't, because now we go back and we start talking about, the Georgia game's not important anymore, right, or the Alabama game's not important anymore, or this, or we may just move the Iron Bowl to the middle of the year. We won't play it at the end of the year. We'll just play it, week 6 and be done with it and move on. There's so much, but people need to understand that college football and the landscape as we've known it growing up is different.
I agree.
It's totally different.
Let me put it another way too. It doesn't just affect Alabama and the Auburns and the Clemsons directly. Think about this. Last year, what if Hunter Henry about Game 7 or Game 6 had said, you know what, Arkansas is not going to make the national championship,
I know.
and I need to just take off and just work out.
That's right.
There's no Hunter Henry to throw it back over his head, to have the wherewithal throw it over his head so that Arkansas beats Ole Miss, and then Alabama goes to the SEC championship game. So I'm saying there's a ripple effect here, not just with the big schools, but the schools that seem to be annually in the national championship hunt, but also the schools that you count on to do some other things. And if it's bad if, for instance, a team, let's say Auburn needs some team to beat Alabama at the end of the season, like a Mississippi State. And Mississippi State's pretty good that year, but Mississippi State says we're already clinched, we've already got what we want, or we're out of it completely, and all of our guys are going to sit. I understand
What's the
mindset.
solution? What's the solution?
I don't know what that is.
Let's not jump too far ahead. Right now, all we are is missing a right now meaningless bowl game. Nobody's skipping the playoffs. Now, if that starts to happen,
but we'll
if
say
we
what Luke
get
said.
there, then we have another conversation.
The Georgia Tech game was also meaningless this year.
But I think,
you see what I'm saying?
But nobody skipped it. I mean, nobody skipped
I'm saying
the
we're getting there.
Well,
but it's inevitable. I think that's blind in choosing to turn away from what's coming. I think there's a storm on the horizon
agree.
type deal. Well, I mean, Andy,
I got a little bit more faith in people's idea of competition. I mean, and playing for your school to go out the regular season. I mean, like you said, I think you said it best.
Leonard Fournette's playing in this game if LSU's got something to play for.
Absolutely.
That's
playing, my point.
They're playing in a bowl game, which we all call the Capital One Bowl a pretty cool bowl. It's a nice bowl to go to, but he's choosing to opt out because the risk far outweighs the reward for him personally. And what Luke's saying is these teams at the end of the season that have their path already paved, why wouldn't you, from a logical human being standpoint, not do it? It has nothing to do with competition. What you want to do and what's the good thing to do are two totally different things. And I'm with you, Andy. I love the passion of college football. Luke does too. We're all on the same page here. But what I'm saying is we have created a system and are working our way even into an in-depth system of adding 4 more teams to this thing, which I think we all know that's coming eventually. It's something we've got to deal with.
Well, let me tell you, here's another thing, is that college football fans have created the culture of, well, bowl games are meaningless unless you're playing for it all. And college football used to not be that way. It used to be a lot of pride involved with winning the Rose Bowl, winning the Sugar Bowl, winning the Capital One Bowl. And now what we've been told over and over again. Well, first of all, and I go back to, everybody says the NCAA needs to step in. I don't think it's the NCAA's role. You have a venue and you have a sponsor, and they say, I want you and you to play, and I'm fine with it. And in a sense, I could spin this positive for LSU. I could say, hey, Fournette, you're done. You sit for the bowl game. If we just know this is only for the bowl game forever, then sit the bowl game. Let Darius guys come out there and show his wares for next year. Let some other younger running back come in and get his experience. There are some ideas out there, like let guys that redshirted throughout the year, let them play in the bowl game. I would be all for that.
I'm going to pose you this, and I know we got to go to break, but Jarrett Stidham, we'll talk about him. He practiced today. Let's say Jarrett Stidham turns out to be who we think Jarrett Stidham is. We have a phone call?
I think we do.
Okay, why don't we just stop that and we'll go to the phone call.
Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, I got a question. I was listening to you a while ago about on the different playoffs and all that. All right, my question is, with the season Auburn's had, do y'all think Auburn should be in the Sugar Bowl with the season we had?
I think we're out of options, honestly.
I think Auburn's the second best team in the SEC.
They are the
right?
second best team, and that's the
at
rule.
the end of the season.
I guess what your point is, in a utopian college football world, would some other team, maybe not even from the SEC, be in there to play Oklahoma? I could make that argument, but I think Auburn is the second best team in the conference.
And most of the time, an 8-4 record's not going to get you to the Sugar Bowl.
That's right.
This year it did.
It's an anomaly of a year.
Y'all think we have a chance at
Absolutely.
Oklahoma?
Absolutely, we have a chance.
A healthy Auburn team, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, Oklahoma's defense isn't anything to write home about.
Oklahoma, beat them?
I'm sorry?
Have we ever played Oklahoma in the past?
You have played them
Yes.
once, I think, and lost to them once, right?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay.
In the Gator Bowl?
One more question. I know y'all have to go to break. All right. How good is this quarterback that one's coming from Baylor to Auburn? I've been hearing the big talk, keeping up. How good is he?
On paper, he's fantastic.
I'm about to talk about that right now.
So let me ask you this. You think it's going to be a good quarterback battle between Sean White and if Franklin sticks around for next year's season and that one coming out of LSU from decommit from them to commit to Auburn?
Well, he committed right back to LSU. Lowell Narcisse committed back to LSU.
And I'm extremely happy he did.
How good is he?
He's pretty good, but I'll tell you, he's a little bit like Austin
knees.
Troxell. I think he's had 2 knee surgeries.
Yeah, I didn't want him.
Okay. One more question. do y'all know? I know Petway said he's not going to the draft. What about Lawson? Is he going to stick at Auburn, or is he a senior this year?
Well, he participated in Senior Day festivities.
Yeah, he's gone.
I think that pretty much
99.9%.
Yeah, he's not coming back.
So,
Unless he ironically got hurt in the Sugar Bowl. If he got hurt in the Sugar Bowl, I bet he would come back, though.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And like, he would be the one that probably needs to sit out since he's had so many injuries.
Exactly. No kidding.
It's crazy. Thank you for the call.
So I'm just hoping we can actually be ready for Oklahoma. You know, we can probably do something Alabama couldn't do last time they played here.
Yeah,
Maybe
me
so.
too.
Maybe so. Hey, we appreciate
We're
it.
too busy winning rings, so
I
we don't
knew
have time
I had to come out with that crap. So
Hey,
anyway,
I just started.
I know it. Hey, Andy, we'll go to break. We'll come back and we'll talk about Jarrett Stidham and get your take on what you would do or what you would want to do as an Auburn fan.
Absolutely. Up against the break. Don't go anywhere. More of Sportz Blitz Live presented by S&S Discount Tire right after this.
Comfort is our number one concern. Advanced Heat and Air.
Advanced Heating and Air makes your comfort their priority for any season. Advanced Heating and Air is the region's Trane dealer and an Alabama Power Superior Solutions dealer that can save you money and energy with a new electric heat pump. Advanced Heating and Air maintains the region's best service team, so rely on us to make your comfort our number one concern. Call 234-5052, and we're there for you.
The Sure Shot, located on Highway 280 in Alexander City, is Lake Martin Sportsman's headquarters. In the market for a new rifle or shotgun? Come to the Sure Shot. Want a new bow or need to practice with the one you have? Come to the Sure Shot. Thinking about a firearm for self-defense? Come to the Sure Shot. Got a hunt planned and need some gear? Come to the Sure Shot. For all your archery, shooting, and hunting needs, let the Sure Shot be your first stop.
If your New Year's resolution is to stop walking and start riding, then resolve yourself to run to Lake Martin Truck and Auto on Old Dadeville Road. Lake Martin Truck and Auto is the bank, and you don't need to worry about past credit, getting your tax money, or finding the ride that suits you, because Lake Martin Truck and Auto has the lowest down payments and monthly payments in the area with the best selection. Don't let the Slick City dealer take all that tax money or hassle you with credit. Lake Martin Truck and Auto, Old Dadeville Road in Alex City.
If you're seeing the American cockroach, throw up the red flag. Ladybugs, throw up the red flag. Ants and swarming termites, throw up the red flag. And kudzu bugs, throw up the red flag. That's Red Flag Pest Control. So the caution is on. Call Red Flag Pest Control today.
I'm Scott Davis with Red Flag Pest Control, celebrating our 10th anniversary. Call me today, 256-825-0430.
Over the years, S&S Tire has grown into the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealer. S&S Tire offers the industry's best brand names: Michelin, Goodyear, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Firestone, and much, much more. The tire pros at S&S offer professional installation and the region's best price. In addition to your tire needs, S&S offers full automotive mechanical work for all your vehicle maintenance and repair needs with the area's most experienced staff. Visit either of our 2 locations on Cherokee Road in Alex City or at South Street in Dadeville. At S&S Tire, we're installing peace of mind for every customer we serve. Every job, every day.
Ready to put some fun in your life? Whether it's Central or East Alabama, North Alabama, West Georgia, or wherever you're from, Fun Carts of Opelika is your authorized easy-go kart dealer that has no limits on a perfect easy-go kart. Whether it's a fully customized kart or a stock-made kart, we'll deliver it on time and at the best price. Fun Carts gives you the service after the sale, so no matter if it's hunting, tailgating, motorhoming, fleet rental, or just a better way to get around, Fun Carts of Opelika has it and will customize it to your needs. Visit us in Opelika or call us or visit online for the best easy-go karts. Put a little fun in your life with Fun Carts of Opelika.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Bice Motors in Alexander City. Brian and his crew offer the latest lines of Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram vehicles, as well as the best used inventory around. Guaranteed lowest price. Bice.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sportz Blitz Live on this bitter cold, not quite so much, Tuesday evening. Well, thanks so much for joining us out there on till about 9 o'clock this evening. So hopefully we're going to catch up with Jason Caldwell from AuburnAUTigers.com about 8:30. So certainly stick around for that. But had a very spirited conversation about the bowl games and players declaring not to play in it to go ahead and make their preparations for the NFL draft. So, that's always that's going to be maybe a topic of conversation that we talk about more and more in the future. But we're going to switch gears now and talk a little bit about Jared Stidham, who committed to Auburn played at Baylor, sat out a year, committed to Auburn about a week ago, and was actually participating in practice yesterday or today.
That's right. We'll go back and tie him into the conversation we just had. Andy, as an Auburn fan, Luke was talking about guys sitting out for a Jalen Hurts. He wouldn't want a Jalen Hurts to sit out, but he could have. And if Jarrett Stidham turns out to be who we think he can be, all right, and Auburn is just tearing it up, and he's at the end of the year, and let's just say, a game that doesn't mean something coming down the stretch or an SEC championship game. I mean, would you want him to play in a game that didn't mean anything to risk him being out in the playoffs for Auburn to win a national championship? I mean, that's where you got to take your mind. That's what Luke's talking about. That's what I'm saying is that, no, I want the guy to play in every game. It's the old spirit of college football, but it's not that way anymore. It just isn't that way. And as an Auburn fan, would you want him to sit out a game that didn't mean anything to have him healthy, to know he's going to be healthy going into that first playoff game?
Well, that's with Auburn, the schedule set up the way it is. You talking about sitting out the Iron Bowl? You talking about sitting out Auburn, Georgia? Absolutely not. I mean, I don't think there would even be a topic of conversation. I really don't think it would be a choice because coming down the stretch, I think that's the reason you come to Auburn, to play in those kind of games. And I understand the thought of it, and I understand that that's where our minds go, but I still think we may be jumping the gun a little bit. I think right now you're talking about a bowl game, and the reason you're sticking out is because it is. I mean, nothing is on the line, but something is on the line there, and that's, again, while I think maybe it ought to be conference champions, because that'd get players playing in the conference championship, because you don't get to the playoff unless you win that conference championship.
Yeah, but at the same time, again, how fair is it? If Florida would have beaten Alabama this year, they play for a national championship. That also devalues the entire regular season, which again is the allure of college football. The college football is based on its regular season. It's never been based on the bowl games themselves. And I think another thing that may make this could ease the pain of some of this, and again, you can't control when the bowls are going to be played, where they're going to be played, and how many you're going to have generally. I mean, I know they have to put in – they wanted 3 other bowls. The demand –
they're going to run out of teams. They're going to have bowls.
There's already 5 and 7
teams. That's what I'm saying.
My point is they don't –
it's
not like the NCAA is putting these bowls out there. People are asking them, can we host a bowl?
I know it.
Because it means so much to them economically and for tourism. But if you went back to a system – where the bowl games were, instead of being spread out over 3 weeks, I mean, let's condense them into just maybe a week or 10 days. Mm-hmm. Let's not have the Boca Raton Bowl or whatever it is right now at 5 o'clock on a Tuesday and some other bowl tomorrow at 11. I forgot Central Michigan and Tulsa were playing, and they played at 1 o'clock or something.
And Central Michigan forgot they were playing too.
Condense it all and try to make it so that you can, instead of trying to remember when one game is being played, that you can say, okay, come over and watch. We got like 5 games to choose from. It used to be awesome on New Year's Day. You're flipping channels.
I love
you're
it.
watching
you
the
bring
Cotton
other
Bowl.
TVs in the room.
Yeah, you would. And now you don't get to do that. And in fact, they've got it so screwed up because of the Rose Bowl that the playoff games are on the New Year's Eve, and then the next day you've got the Rose Bowl, and then the next day after that you've got Auburn.
I know it.
I mean, here Auburn fans are. They get to go to in Oklahoma too. You get to go to the Sugar Bowl, and then you play on January 2nd when everybody's supposed to be going back to work.
That's right.
I mean, just go back to a little bit more that we've broken away so much from tradition.
Part of that's just because it's on Sunday, though. New Year's Day happens to fall
Okay,
on Sunday.
I know, but I would
And
rather
NFL.
then let's play
They're
all
not
the
gonna
games on
mess with the
January 2nd.
NFL. They're not gonna mess with the NFL.
I get that, and I understand that. Let's go to January 2nd. Why are we doing the playoffs on? Make the Sugar Bowl and the Orange Bowl.
But you know,
and everything
Alabama
else-
plays at what time?
2:00.
2:00. A playoff game. In
Well,
the
but
middle of the afternoon.
because you're not going to play those two.
Well,
I get why you play those two back
I know,
to back.
I do too. I get it too. But it's like I remember last year, everybody was complaining about the Clemson game being in the middle of the afternoon against Oklahoma. I mean, because it just didn't even have a good feel to it.
Well, I think that what you try to do is pick out what you think will be the
Yeah.
better game and draw the more eyeballs. So I get the playoff games being back to back like
There's
that.
no
but and
perfect
being by
answer to
themselves.
that. Yep.
But I think that you could go back to a scenario where you have a lot of bowl games on at one time and you invite a bunch of people over.
I there's still going to be days where you have 5 bowl games. It's just more toward New Year's Eve.
But one of them starts at 10 in the morning, then one of them's going to start at 2 in the afternoon. Then
The problem with that is nobody would, in their right mind, would watch Central Michigan and Eastern or Central Michigan and Tulsa unless it was the only game on.
That's true, and look.
There was 12 people in the stands. I mean, if people are not watching
That's
on
what I'm
TV,
getting
they're
at with
making
these
no money.
bowl games.
But they again, they're demanding that. I don't know why. I mean, I guess they.
I will say this in defense of the Camellia Bowl, it's been one of the better bowls the last 2 years.
It has.
Appalachian State, man, they just find a way.
And
to
well
win.
attended, by the way.
And by the way, could you buy the branding that the Poulan company got from the Poulan Weed Eater Bowl? I don't even know who sponsors the Weed Whacker Bowl right now.
I know,
the Independence Bowl,
exactly.
because I still call it the Weed Whacker Bowl.
I know everybody
And
did.
when you think about the Independence Bowl, you
That was
think
where the
Poulan Weed Whacker
That's where
Bowl.
the infamous trap came from, and couldn't stop it. Couldn't stop the trap.
So, by the way, the Sportz Blitz has a new logo, as you see it on the screen behind us, and that is a good-looking logo.
Sharp, man.
Where did that? What's the
We
origination?
got to
of that?
thank Chance Meadows. Works in. He was one of the artists, graphic designers down at LNG, and he took our old logo, and our old logo, it served its purpose. But after so many years, we've been blessed to be on the air over 10 years now. We're doing a little rebranding, like most people do. You see, the AHSA rebranded a couple of years ago, and they modernized that AHSAA that they had, and this really pops. I mean, I'm very impressed. Want to say thanks to Chance Meadows for designing that and incorporating the Auburn and Alabama look into our logo, because that's what we're all about here. We're high school and Auburn and Alabama mainly, and then we dive off into everything else. And on the Lake Martin Sports Roundup, they'll give you updates on the Premier League from Europe and other things like that. So a little inside joke.
Not gonna let it go. Are you?
I'm not going to. I just can't do it. I can't do it. But for the most part, again, it's a new look. We got a lot of new things coming in 2017 that we're excited about, that we'll be talking about over the next few months, and we're just looking forward to moving in a new direction on a couple of things that we're doing.
Up against another break.
That's it.
We'll come back. We'll talk about these things and much, much more. More Sportz Blitz Live on the way right after this.
In a world that's ever changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a four-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you, central to your success.
Don't you know there's no clean like Peaches and Clean?
Wow, your carpets look fantastic.
Yeah, thanks to Peaches and Clean.
They look new again.
They also clean my kitchen tile.
Simply amazing. I'm calling Peaches and Clean today.
Just call 502-5326. Oh yeah, they have an area rug cleaning facility too.
Peaches and Clean is now expanded to the Alexander City Lake Martin Market. Give them a call at 334-502-5326.
Call us up at Peaches and Clean.
Get the best seat in the house for every game this football season. Upgrade that old recliner for the comfort of FlexSteel from Holly's Home Furnishings. Stunning styles, incredible comfort, and FlexSteel's signature blue steel construction. At Holly's Home Furnishings, we offer a variety of different fabric and leather options, plus state-of-the-art power recliners. Come in and score big today with Holly's Home Furnishings' unbeatable selection and unbelievable everyday prices. Family-owned and operated Holly's Home Furnishings located in Alexander City and Montgomery.
You know, these Zaxby's fried pickles really take me back to Meemaw's kitchen.
Yeah, Meemaw really would have loved these. Is that a time machine?
Yep, and I brought Meemaw back with me.
That's not Meemaw.
Ooh, okay, let's get you back inside.
Better than Grandma's? Maybe. Indescribably good? Definitely. Fried pickles are back. Lightly breaded, fried to perfection, and served with ranch sauce. Try them before they're gone. Zaxby's.
Look, anyone who thinks you gotta make a truck heavier to make it stronger has been working too long without a hard hat. Meet the all-new 2017 Ford Super Duty. They cut weight with a high-strength, military-grade aluminum alloy body and reinvested a big chunk of it to beef up the high-strength steel frame, forging the most capable heavy-duty pickup in America. Time to punch work in the face. This is the next level. This is the all-new Ford Super Duty.
Attention bow hunters and archers. Archery Connection has 30,000 square feet of wall-to-wall archery. Bows, crossbows, and hunting supplies. Purchase a bow or crossbow and receive free service for life, free archery lessons for life, and 1 week of shooting on our indoor range. Video archery, or our 45-yard indoor sight and range. Archery Connection is your one-stop shop for all your hunting and archery needs. Come see us at Archery Connection in Phoenix City, Alabama, where hunters and archers connect.
This segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Dark Insurance, offering insurance for all your personal needs, including auto, boat, homeowners, and disability. Don't be in the dark. Call Dark Insurance at 256-234-5026.
Welcome back, everyone. Sportz Blitz Live. Andy Graham, Luke Robinson, and Brett Pritchard here with you for about an hour and a half longer, talking about everything going on in the world of sports. Talk a little bit about Alabama right now. I guess it's a good time to begin an Alabama Blitz here. A good time as any.
It's always a good time. Andy.
I'm sure it is. Alabama, of course, 13-0. Washington 12-1. Going to get together in the Peach Bowl for the playoff. We were talking about that earlier. What is that? 2 p.m. on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
So I know.
What a great time.
Hey, you know. I'm sure they'll have some viewership for that game.
Yeah, no doubt.
But when you look at these two teams, Washington matches up fairly well, at least on paper. You have to look. You'll have to look at it. I mean, they go from. You have to balance out the conferences, obviously. Playing in the SEC is a different
not just the
animal.
conferences, but also the non-conference schedule. And here's one thing that I looked at yesterday.
Are you saying Portland State is not a?
Portland State, Idaho, and Rutgers. Rutgers, by the way, I think they lost by
The year is almost over, but Bikes Motors in Alex
right? And I think they lost by a combined 150 to nothing, essentially.
They gave up 70 to
This
Michigan.
game might be close at half. In the second half, it's going to be. Look, let's all understand the formula for Alabama's success, okay? It's not that they're overbearing on offense. They're not. I mean, they're a good offensive football team. But the problem for opponents is Alabama on defense gets off the field 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. And the other team's defense is on the field 75% of the game. So by the time midway through the third, on in the fourth quarter, I don't care who you are, you're spent. You're
pretty
worn out.
Who gave Alabama the most trouble this year?
Well, score-wise, you'd have to go back to Ole Miss. But
why? Because Chad Kelly.
Because they moved the football.
You think Jake Browning's not as good as Chad Kelly?
No, first of all, I don't think Jake Browning's as good as Chad Kelly. And if you just put Chad Kelly at Washington, I think Chad Kelly's going to do just as well as Jake Browning, if not better. Number one. Number two, I don't think Washington's got the weapons. That Ross kid at wide receiver is very, very good. A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, Stringfellow, those guys are freaks.
Well, and I will say this about that. I think that Andy's on to something, that a quarterback that can throw the football, that the offense can stay on the field and sustain some drives, can work their way into a game where the game goes into the fourth quarter. But if you got offenses that can't move the ball, and Alabama's off 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, and you're grinding out, your team doesn't have a chance in the fourth quarter. Auburn, the problem for Auburn this year is they couldn't move the ball against Georgia or Alabama because they're so banged up, had no continuity on offense. But Auburn just happened to be in the game 13-9, but you knew what was coming. Our defense had played about as good as you could expect. They played until they ran out of gas, and Alabama ended up putting a couple touchdowns on the board late in the game and expanded the score out. But that's just how Alabama wins.
Well, here's the thing. People, I was listening to College Football Live today, too, and they say, well, here's how Washington stays in it. If they can, you get a drive going, and then you get a couple of turnovers. Well, I mean, yeah, that's what everybody wants to do, and nobody's been able to do it, with the glaring exception of Ole Miss, and they only did it for about 2 quarters. Alabama played pretty badly, and Ole Miss played very well.
Ole Miss missed their opportunity to win that ball game.
Everybody talks about, well, Ole Miss had a 20-point lead. That's right, and then Alabama turned around and had a 19-point lead. Yeah. That game ended up being 48-43 because Ole Miss was able to recover an onside kick. I mean,
and Ole Miss turned the ball over.
There's another way to look at that.
And they turned it over 1,000,000 times.
Alabama did too.
I know. They canceled each other out, but at the end of the first half is where Ole Miss lost that football game.
But here's the thing the point I wanted to bring up that we talked about on the Talking Tuscaloosa podcast was, okay, you can look at all these numbers and you can try and cross-compare, but in the end, the number that stands out to me, because I'm a recruiting it first and foremost, you got to have the ingredients before you bake the cake. Alabama's last 4 recruiting classes, number one. Washington's last 4, 27, 29, 18, 38. I don't see how Washington's going to be able to stack up now. That doesn't mean upsets don't happen. They do happen. And I think Peterson is a marvelous coach.
He's a great coach.
And he's going to have something put together.
I bet Boise State's recruiting classes were a lot worse than that. And he beat Oklahoma.
But he beat Oklahoma in a bowl game, which we're already arguing about. Where he beat a Georgia team that ended up not being great that year. I mean, again, so I can make the argument the other way. I think that, again, that's why I think he's also a fabulous coach. I'm not trying to discount him as a coach. I just think in the end, Brett's onto something, whereas Alabama's going to be able to wear them down. Also, Washington has returned some of their tickets, which lets me know this is what was already going to be a decided Alabama advantage is going to be even more so.
Well, why travel cross country to watch your brains get beat in? I mean, I'm just saying that, look, man, I'm Auburn over here, but I've seen this show too many times, and it's going to take Alabama playing horrible to lose this game or to keep Washington in it late. I'm not saying that Washington's not going to be competitive. I don't think that it's going to be Alabama-Michigan State last year. Now, I'm tired of Michigan State making it to games that matter because they just get pummeled every time. But Washington, led by a very good coach and a very good quarterback, can sustain enough drives and move the football to where they're not on the field. Alabama's defense is on the field a lot more than they're accustomed to being. So I think that's the formula, but I think at the end of the day, in the third and fourth quarter, it's where teams lose and the gap widens for Alabama on the scoreboard.
Well, I'll reverse the question you asked earlier. Well, who gave Alabama the most trouble? Chad Kelly at Ole Miss. But who gave Washington the most trouble? The team that probably looks the most like Alabama, which is USC. And in fact, they didn't give them trouble. They beat them down pretty handily in their own backyard.
They did.
That's the only scary thing about it.
I just say, a good quality quarterback. I think Drake Brandon, I don't think he's a great quarterback, but he's a very good quality quarterback. Threw 42 touchdown passes this year. They got a running back that ran for 1,339 yards. You said, they said that Washington needs to get some turnovers. They're the best team in the country at turning people over. They're plus 21 in turnover margin. Alabama is apt to give the ball away.
They are. I've got to go look. I want to see how many of those touchdown passes and turnovers came against the 3 non-conference opponents in Idaho, Portland State, and Rutgers. Because Rutgers is the worst team in Division I, I think.
Can Washington make Alabama pay when they turn the ball over. That's the problem.
Can they protect Brown?
Well, Alabama just turned the ball over left and right in Iron Bowl, and Auburn can't move the ball. Alabama turned the ball over against Florida. I mean, there's opportunities there, and teams haven't been able to seize them. So that's a problem. If they can get the turnover, but can they cash it in for points?
Does it mean anything to either one of y'all that this is the third playoff, and Alabama's been in all three, and Washington hadn't been on this venue yet? And in fact, even in the Pac-12 championship, I mean, that looked like a Missouri-Kentucky Thursday night game in the crowd.
Well, it's going to be. It's going. First of all, I think that's a great point. I think that Washington's got to travel all the way across the country. First of all, that's tough. You know, it's a long trip, and I know they're going to get there early and they're going to try to get acclimated to the setting. But that's going to be an Alabama environment. It's going to be an Alabama home game. It's in Atlanta. It's going to be a situation where they don't need to let the deer in the headlights get to them early in the game. It's the pressure of the playoff, all of that is on that, and you're playing the best team in college football. I don't know if it's enough. I don't think they can handle all of that at one time, but I might be wrong. We'll see.
Think about how important, it just dawned on me how important that USC loss was to Washington. If they don't lose that game, they're the 2 seed. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah, they're the 2 seed.
They're the 2 seed, and they play out in Phoenix instead of traveling to Atlanta.
Makes a big difference.
And they probably, I guess they'd play Clemson.
Yeah.
And Alabama would probably play Ohio State.
They would. Man, what a crazy – boy, that would be interesting.
I think Alabama needs to be concerned with this Washington defense, with guys like Buda Baker.
Yeah, anytime you're going up against a deity.
JoJo McIntosh, Psalm Wuching. He's a guy named Psalm.
My biggest regret is that Kenny Stabler isn't alive to pronounce some of these.
Vita Vea.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be scared.
Well, next year we're going to have Tua Tango Vailoa, so we can't really talk
much. I will say this
Nick
about –
Nick Saban will go out and hire Nia Matalolo to be a coach.
Well, you look at Washington's defense, Andy, and the numbers you put together. They are number 11 overall in the country. They're number 1 in their conference on defense. Alabama's 1-1 all the way across the board. But they do have a decent defense. Now, opponents, you can only do who you got against you on the schedule. So we can say, well, they didn't play this night. Well, they did what they had to do with the people that they played. So it will be interesting. There are some matchup issues for Alabama. If that offensive line can give him enough time to throw the football, it will be interesting to see. But I've just seen this play so many times. I know what's coming in Act 3.
I'm really with Brett, and I'm usually Chicken Little when it comes to this. Yeah. I don't believe in talking a lot of trash pregame because I feel like all that does is come back to bite you. But I'm going to be honest when I say it's getting tougher and tougher for me to feel really concerned about Washington.
You should.
Nick Saban, I'm sorry. Don't let the players hear that. I know you're not. I'm just saying that the more I look at this, the more I say, frankly, as much as anti-Michigan State you are, I could make the case that last year's Michigan State team was at least the equal of this year's Washington team.
It could be.
Let's go ahead and take a break.
Yeah.
We'll come back. We'll push this over and talk about this in the next segment as well. More Sportz Blitz Live right after this.
If you've been putting off that new heating and air unit in your home because of the upfront expenses, Williams Plumbing of Alexander City now has primary financing from Synchrony and can now install brand new heating and cooling systems with zero down, longer terms, and a competitive rate. Call Williams Plumbing at 256-329-8488 and get a free quote and terms and upgrade up to $35,000 in work with approved credit. Williams Plumbing stands behind their work with on-time affordable service for all your heating and air needs, as well as plumbing for zero down financing and great service. Williams Plumbing.
Auburn Opelika has that perfect something for you. From sophisticated chic boutiques to exceptional dining, there's a retailer or restaurant to make your next visit special. Whether it's elegant fine dining or freshly squeezed lemonade, you'll find the perfect fit for every taste and budget. The food's great and the shopping is too, so be sure to check out the wide array of gifts, decor, clothing, and more. For every occasion, Auburn Opelika has what you're looking for. Let's make your next trip memorable. Visit Auburn Opelika.
At U.S. AmeriBank, there's something very different at the heart of what we do and who we are. It's a spirit that also defines our neighbors, local businesses, and communities. Building on our 116-year history in Alabama, U.S. AmeriBank provides something found nowhere else: craft banking. It's an unwavering commitment to handcrafted banking solutions that turns customers into enthusiastic fans. Visit usameribank.com or your local branch to discover the U.S. AmeriBank difference. U.S. AmeriBank. Banking on values. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
No pest is too big or too small for Lex Wedgeworth Pest Control. Protect your home or business today from insects, termites, mosquitoes, and more. Lex uses the latest state-of-the-art technology and equipment to solve your pest problem, including the environmentally friendly Centricon termite baiting system. Lex has been servicing the Lake Martin area for over 35 years and has a full staff on hand. Call Lex today, even if it's just a question, at 256-234-6162. Lex Wedgeworth Pest Control. Smart solutions to your pest problems.
Find everything you need for the perfect outdoor living space at Russell Do-It Center, like the Fire Rock Outdoor Conventional Fireplace, smartly designed masonry systems that are easy to install and are less than half the cost of a scratch-built brick and mortar fireplace. Weber Grills, the best outdoor gas, electric, and charcoal grills, which always come pre-assembled. Yeti Coolers, premium coolers and accessories that are the ultimate in design, performance, and durability. Russell Do-It Center, experience and knowledge from the pros.
This sale only comes around once a year.
The year is almost over, but Bice Motors in Alex City is going out big. It's the Big Finish 2016. Big savings, big selection, big finish. Save on every Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram in stock. All 2016s have got to go. Grand Cherokee, Cherokee, Compass, or Patriot. Our selection of Jeeps has never been better. Save up to $13,000 off MSRP on Ram 1500 Crew Cab.
Come see us in Alex City. BiceChryslerDodge.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sportz Blitz Live. Andy, Brett, and Luke here with you until 9 o'clock, talking about anything and everything going on in the world of sports. See the number there, 256-234-6221. Another big topic of conversation this week has been Joe Mixon, running back for Oklahoma, kind of Mr. Do-It-Everything. I think he returns punts, kickoffs, run for close to 1,000 yards this year, I think.
Martial arts.
Yeah, he does quite everything. He's a redshirt sophomore. The reason he redshirted, though, because he was, I guess you could say, quote unquote, suspended for a year, not allowed to enroll or at least play for Oklahoma because he had a domestic dispute, or how would you classify it?
When somebody's jaw gets wired shut, it's not a dispute anymore.
That's
First
true.
and foremost,
it's an assault of some sort.
Here's the thing. If you've seen this video, and I think just forewarning you if this is disturbing, and I think Michael's going to put it up for us.
Yeah.
But it's out there. No sense in hiding it. You can see it wherever you want to, but he'll put it up there just so you can. And I feel wrong because when the incident first happened and he was suspended for a year, my initial thought was, okay, that's probably enough. That's a long punishment for somebody. When I see this video,
you think it should be longer?
Not only do I think it should be longer, I think he should be absolutely 100% booted from school, not allowed to play for any other Big 12 team. And people talk about second chances, and this it disgusts me. And you talk about, well, if that was your son, you'd want him to have another shot at it. I'm thinking more about if that was my daughter. And Brett, I would feel this way if I'd seen him hit a grown man that way. When you were an athlete and you spend your time training and being strong and quicker and faster than everybody else and quick twitch and all those things.
And you react that way from a shove?
From a shove from a woman. But it doesn't. Even if it had been a man and I'd seen that on video, I would have said boot him from school. I'd have no problem with that.
Well, it's like you said, it's disgusting, and first of all, from a son standpoint, I would be just as upset. And I'm going to say this as an Auburn fan, and you probably feel the same way, Luke and Andy. I know you agreed with me on Saturday. If that guy played for Auburn, I'd want him totally away from that program. I wouldn't want my son or my daughter to watch. How do you go out and pull for that guy?
You don't.
I mean, how do you pull? And I know everybody makes mistakes, and he did something he probably regrets very, very badly now. He got caught up in a moment of rage, and he let it come out. But if you can't control your rage any more than that after watching what he does right here,
It's so quick, Brett. It looks like it's cut. It's spliced.
I know.
And then he just walks out the door. That's the thing.
Yeah.
If you ever,
he didn't show any remorse.
If you ever did something like that, and then your first thought wasn't, "Oh my God, I lost my mind," and arrest me now. I couldn't be more apologetic. I'm so sorry. Whatever. His thought was just, she won't do that again.
Andy, if that guy's on Auburn's team, I'm telling you, I don't know if, as an Oklahoma fan, how you pull for that guy. I mean, it's the same situation with Jeremy Hill when he was at LSU.
And Jeremy Hill should have been booted.
He should have been gone, too.
And if you were to see something else that's equally disturbing, and it goes back to Jeremy Hill hit a man, but he sucker punched him.
Sucker punch.
And he hit him,
back of the
and he
head.
had a ring on the back of his hand, on his fist, I believe, and really could have hurt him badly.
It's just a punk. It's just a bunch of punks walking around doing things that show up. Now, Oklahoma's like, why are you bringing this tape out now? Well, why didn't they bring it out to begin with? Why did they wait 2 years?
Well, I think the lawyers
saw it.
made it that way.
Stoops and the president saw this tape and then determined the punishment. If they had not seen the tape and they had just gone with Joe Mixon's word against her word, now granted she has her jaw wired shut and all these other facial issues, and if they were just going his word against her word and you suspend him for a year, I guess you sort of say, okay. I could make.
I don't know how you'd look at that.
You see that video, and you don't boot him from. Don't just boot him from school. Say, get your stuff as quickly as you can and get out of here.
That's right.
And do not come back.
I don't want you representing our school. Andy, what's your thought?
I certainly you don't want to be the person defending Joe Mixon in this situation, and it is indefensible what he did. But I don't know. I've come to a point in my life. I guess I hate to, and I try not to label somebody and for all of eternity on a split-second decision, no matter how horrific it is. I do believe in second chances, and I don't know. I know you have to draw the line somewhere, but
my question
all of his future, the next 60 years of his life cannot be just stained because of this.
Yes, it can. Though.
Well, I mean, it can be, but I'm
that's
saying
the thing, and it should be.
But you can't just alter everything that he does. You can't go around and just say, remove him from society.
Well, somebody would pick him up. Somebody would pick him up.
Somebody's picked up Jeremy Hill. Jeremy Hill got this second chance. He's doing just fine, making millions of dollars playing for Cincinnati. Joe Mixon's going to be fine, first of all.
Sure.
Okay, but it's so funny because.
But what about that girl?
When Georgia booted Jonathan Taylor for a domestic issue, Alabama brought him in. I said this is the biggest mistake of the Nick Saban tenure. But this, and then there's a big gap, and then DJ Hall playing after he's suspended for a game, playing in the second half. But this Jonathan Taylor thing, and then he gets into another situation, and it turns out the woman drops the charges, but it doesn't matter. Don't put yourself in that situation. And I go back to this, and you say, well, I believe in second chances. I believe in second chances too. I believe that if you, I could even see if you get into a car accident because you were texting and driving, you were on a red light, and somebody gets hurt. And I can see that. A lot of people do that. Yeah. A lot of people don't hit women with that ferocity.
I'm going to say this.
That we know of.
I don't think a lot of people can do that. That's my point, is that it's like a boxer being labeled a human weapon, essentially. You're a weapon when you're that trained.
What do you think of when you see Jameis Winston now? What's the first thing? I can't get it out of my mind what he went through at Florida State. And there's no doubt in my mind something went on there. And he ended up lawyering up and figuring out a way to use the university and the university covering for him to get through it. No different. I mean, this is what we do for some of these athletes now, Andy. You said it Saturday. You said, yeah, you hear about that, it's one thing. You see it, it changes your whole perspective on it. And I was the same way. Look, the kid served a year suspension. All right, Bob Stoops said, all right, you're out. You think about it, whatever. I'm with you on second chances, but there are some things that are worse than others.
I agree. That's my point.
And to me, when you do that as a somebody didn't teach him any kind of respect or how to treat somebody, because like Luke said, this guy trains, and that's what he does every day, is to be big, fast, and strong so he can compete at that level. And you know what? It was a moment of rage, but he reacted.
This
and
is
so
when he was in high school, right?
That video happened while he was at
That's
Oklahoma.
why he was at Oklahoma.
Okay.
No, but here's the other thing. I don't think Oklahoma can boot him right now.
Well, they can't now. They're not going to.
It's over.
This is water under the bridge.
Agreed. And so you're saying, how can you go there and pull for him? I guess if you're an Oklahoma fan, you can still be sickened by it, disgusted by it, but you can say, okay, I'm not even mad at Mixon anymore. I mean, I'm mad at him, and I think he's pretty horrible.
I just think.
But I'm more mad at Stoops. What does it say about Stoops and your president?
It says what we all know about these coaches. And I hate to just bottle them all up into one big pile, but if Joe Mixon was a 2-star, it'd be gone. No questions asked. You and I've had this discussion a million times. They're trying. Why did Jimbo Fisher allow Jameis Winston to make him look like a total idiot all year long? I mean, he told the kid to sit in the locker room. He comes out dressed out, and he's looking like, he made Jimbo Fisher look like a fool time after time after time. But you know what? It was okay, because Jameis Winston's going to win me a national championship, and he's going to help me get a contract extension at Florida State. That's why these coaches do what they do, and that's why they tolerate what they tolerate.
That's what I was going to say.
We got a phone call.
We do have a phone call, but that's why it's okay, because now Jimbo Fisher has a remarkable $45 million buyout.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I guess you can look like a fool for a minute for $45 million.
That's what I'm saying. He just got, he sacrificed himself.
Let's go to our caller. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Merry Christmas to you, Uncle Brian.
Merry Christmas, Brian.
Brian, you've been knocking out the Christmas videos, my man. I've been watching them.
You went to my harmonica playing too?
Do what now?
Harmonica.
Yeah, your harmonica, man. You just got some mad skills.
Washington Texas beat Memphis 28-17 in the half.
Yeah, I know it. What do you? I've heard you tell me or tell the Facebook world that all you want for Christmas is an Alabama National Championship 17. Is that right?
Yep.
And what? What else do you want, Brian?
Gift cards.
I know that. I know Buffalo Wild Wings, Academy Sports, and what else?
Bass Pro Shop.
There you go, Bass Pro Shop.
Okay.
I know. I know.
Thank you, Brian.
Brian, we appreciate the call, buddy.
Yeah.
Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah. This is Chuck from Birmingham.
Yes, sir.
Chuck.
How you doing?
Fine.
Good,
How
man.
are you?
Is it the coach's responsibility to teach integrity?
Is it their coach's responsibility to? I think when you bring, I think that they have a role and a responsibility. Now, when a kid gets to campus, you would like to hope that they've already had some of that instilled in them. Now, I know people come from different backgrounds and all that kind of stuff, but I think that is. We hear these coaches say this all the time, don't we? We want to grow, good.
Go from boys to men
that are going to go out into society and be productive. I mean, you hear that speech all the time.
Well, I fit. I've been around the game a long time, and as one of the things that this old man and used to coach in Tuscaloosa used to tell us. He says we're coming from we came from someplace, and we're going someplace, and the time in the middle is what we've got to look for, what we've got to show what's good.
I agree. But what
you got 4 years to try to instill something. You want to do it. We keep talking about you want to make your body fit, but they're trying to make men out of these young boys and try to teach them all these different things that they're not getting at home.
Well, I appreciate it, guys, and y'all have a good evening. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you. And look at that. I guess that is an important question. How much of a father figure are these coaches?
They're supposed to be. They got to be.
And I think that role has probably diminished because now we all see there's so much money involved. We know that Jimbo Fisher is going to be less of a father figure or less of a disciplinarian if it means national championship and extension.
He was nothing of a father figure to Jameis Winston. I wasn't around that. Now, look, I'm saying that as a broad term. Now, we didn't see what happened off the field and what he probably did for that kid in some sort of fashion, but when the national eye was on him and Jameis Winston knew exactly what he was doing and calculated his move, here's a guy that's giving you chance after chance after chance, and you continue to make him look like an idiot. You continue to backtalk him on the sideline and show no respect. I mean, here's the thing is we continue to reinforce these kind of habits for these kids, and there's no punishment involved in it, and that's why they're allowed to do. It's DeMarcus Cousins. Andy and I talked about it on Saturday. DeMarcus Cousins has been a whiny, crybaby, pouty kid ever since you and I saw him on the floor at the BJCC, and he's still doing that today in the NBA.
And he's still getting paid.
Yep.
A lot. And that's the thing is that he's going to be paid. Jameis Winston is getting paid a lot of money. Jeremy Hill, a lot of money.
We watched.
Jones, a lot of money.
I know it.
And Joe Mixon, he'll make a lot of money.
We're up against a break here, but when we come back, we'll continue these discussions. We'll take your phone calls. 256-234-6221. More of the Sportz Blitz live here at Lake Broadcasting. We'll be back with more right after this.
It's time to zero in on huge savings at Lynch Nissan of Auburn. 0% financing is back in a big way on many of your favorite Nissan models, but only for a limited time. Buy today and save up to $11,000 off MSRP on remaining 2016s as we make room for the 2017s. Get up to $7,000 off MSRP on the new Altima SL or 0% for 72 months. Just click it and pick it now at lynchnissan.com. Lynch Nissan of Auburn, I-85 and exit 51.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization. Wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat. Full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma. All with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
Boaters in the Lake Martin area know whether you need service, maintenance, repairs, a great selection of pre-owned boats, or a brand new Landau pontoon. Alex City Marine at the corner of 63 and 280 is there for you. Thanks to a record-setting sales year, Alex City Marine now has one of the finest pre-owned inventories they've ever had. Repairs, service, routine maintenance, for all your boating needs. See the pros the locals know. Alex City Marine at the corner of 63 and 280. Check them out online at alexcitymarine.com.
Lyman Ward Military Academy in Camp Hill, Alabama, known worldwide for programs and outstanding facilities designed to prepare young men for future success. Young men who are academically prepared for a rapidly evolving economy, morally prepared through character development and spiritual guidance, physically challenged by preparing for athletic competition, and prepared to be leaders in their careers through the structure of military discipline. Lyman Ward Military Academy, over a century of preparing youth for the work of life.
I'm attorney Dane Sharp. Here at my office, we want to be different than the big city billboard lawyers. We want to give your case the personal attention that it deserves. We handle auto accidents, tractor-trailer accidents, and other cases where our clients have been injured and need personal legal attention. To me and my staff, you will not just be another number on the case file, and we will return your phone calls. So if you've been injured, give me a call today or visit us on our website.
Textile left. Our economy was threatened. Then the Hyundai and parts supplier plants opened. Now our economy is thriving. Our friends and neighbors build some of the finest cars in the world. Yearly national and international awards. Compare Hyundai of Auburn, America's best warranty in creating local jobs and growth. Compelling reasons to compare. This week at Hyundai of Auburn, 0% interest, $149 leases, and $4,000 cash back. Plus other discounts. You owe it to yourself and your community. Hyundai of Auburn.
This segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Satterfield on Highway 280 in Alex City. Satterfield is the Lake Martin area's Big Green Egg and Accessories headquarters.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sportz Blitz Live. We're up against, this is the segment we'll do the Players of the Week, and we'll start with Luke.
Well, we've got a phone caller. Should we go ahead and go to that really quickly?
Probably.
Callers come first, I think, so let's go ahead and do that.
I think.
Caller, you're on there.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Fine, how are you?
I'm doing fine. It's been a long time since I called y'all. Charles?
Hey,
What's
Charles.
up, man?
Yeah, I heard y'all talking about Florida State a while ago and Winston and all that.
That's
Yes,
right.
I believe the last time they won a national championship, Jeremy Pruitt was the defensive coordinator, wasn't he?
Was it Florida State?
Yes,
He was.
he
Yeah, he
Okay.
was. And then he left right after that and went to Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think Florida State's done nothing since he left.
Well, they went to the playoffs the next year. They went to the very first playoff.
They did get killed, though.
Oh, okay. But they got blowed out in that.
Yeah,
playoff,
Oregon,
if I remember right.
Oregon put it on them pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just like the way Jeremy Pruitt runs that defense for Alabama.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's an incredible recruiter. I mean, I think that I think he's a better recruiter than he is defensive coordinator, and he's a pretty good defensive coordinator.
Yeah, because I'm watching one show, I believe it's ESPN or something, and, we say that Nick Saban is a good defensive coach, which he is, and they said you had to give Pruitt a lot of credit there, too, because especially on the defensive ends,
Mm-hmm.
you got Williams on one side, and you got what's the other guy's name?
Well, Tim Williams, you got
Jonathan Allen.
Deshaun Hand, Jonathan Allen. I mean, you got Dalvin Tomlinson.
Yeah, I think that's the guy come out of Huntsville. I can't think what his name is.
Out of Huntsville.
It's not Reggie Ragland. He's not there anymore.
Yeah.
No, there's another one there. He sacked quarterbacks a lot. Okay.
Ryan
I can't think what his
Anderson.
name is.
Ryan Anderson?
No,
He's
he's from
Daphne.
Mobile. He's from Mobile.
But I was just gonna call y'all and tell you that I'm not predicting that game. Washington, Alabama, but I think Alabama played right. They should win. And talking about Pruitt, and I'm gonna hang up. I like the way he's the boy from Dayton, Jennings.
Anthony Jennings.
Yeah, number 33. Cause I've seen him a lot on TV this year.
Yeah, he's played a lot. He actually had a big sack when Florida ran the fake punt. He was able to get the punter. So he's played well. Thanks so much for the phone call.
Hey, I appreciate it. You have a Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Charles. Appreciate it.
Now we can do Players of the Week.
Bye. Let's go. We'll start with you.
All right, let's do the LMG Lee Marketing Group Montgomery Area Player of the Week, and that's Azariah Say. If his middle name is I'm going to love it. Prattville High School, the junior scored 35 in back-to-back games, Thursday against Marbury and Monday against Chilton County.
You don't say.
Azariah, what you say? I like it.
All right, I'll go next. Sportz Blitz Lee County Player of the Week, sponsored by Alabama National Guard. Make sure you go check them out, nationalguard.com/AL. Preston Cook went 4 for 4 from the 3-point line and led the Tigers with 28 points in a key area victory over Central Phoenix City. That's always a big matchup when they get together, so congratulations to Preston Cook.
Shelby County Player of the Week, presented to you by Central State Bank. Michelle Edwards from Chelsea High School, despite dropping 42 points and posting another double-double with 18 boards, the Lady Hornets fell on the road to Southside Gadsden 91-72. Wasn't her fault.
It wasn't her fault.
That's way to promote the whole team atmosphere we've been going for. Everybody played terrible except you.
What about how she just sit out?
Michelle. Lyman Ward Military Academy AISA Player of the Week is Claudia Tucker from Lee Scott Academy. She was 8 of 9 on 3-pointers and scored 32 points to help the Warriors, who were 13-0, down the Macon East, whatever they are. They left out the mascot for the Fort Dale Academy's tournament title.
Boy, I tell you, we just keep rolling on. All right, and this young man right here, the Russell Building Supply Russell Do It Center AHSA Radio Network Player of the Week, phenomenal athlete. Had an opportunity to see him in person. Jalen Adams from Minor High School was named Alabama's Gatorade Player of the Year. He caught 77 passes, 1,502 yards, 19 TDs, and ran 86 times for 725 yards and 13 more on the ground. 2,000 total yards of offense, 32 touchdowns for Jalen Adams. He's got a gear that most people don't, and when you see him out in the open field, I thought he was one of the best players that I've seen in person all year long, and somebody's going to get a gem in him when he signs.
Lake Martin Area Player of the Week, presented by the Alabama National Guard. Shay Johnson from Benjamin Russell High School. After scoring 15 in the Lady Wildcats' first area win over Wetumpka, Johnson scored 14 to help propel the Cats to a 58-55 victory over rival Coosa Central. Boys didn't fare so well.
No.
The Alabama National Guard East Alabama Player of the Week is Desiree Tyner from Lochapoka High School, led the Lady Indians with 17 points in a near upset over 7A Auburn High School. And, Brett, I want to go back to Jalen Adams for a minute.
Yeah.
He pulled out of the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star. He was a late addition.
He was.
And then he pulled back out like LeBron Ray. And it made me think, you know what, they're kind of doing what Leonard Fournette did.
They did. KJ Britt played. I mean, he practiced today too, and I had an opportunity. You had an opportunity to talk to him, and you think about it. They're playing in that game. It's prestigious playing the Alabama-Mississippi game, but only a few days later, he's on campus at Auburn. He's practicing.
Malcolm Askew
down there as well. So I mean, look. I think the moral of the story is there's inherent risk in everything you do, especially in a game like football. Are you going to live your life in a glass building and be scared to go out there, or are you going to just go out and play the game that's gotten you to the point where you are and just say, look, let the chips fall where they may, but I'm going to go out here and play? I mean, we could start watering everything down if we wanted to.
As long as you can afford your own glass building, I think that they will continue starting to do that, because that's the thing. Back in the day, everybody in my day, we'd have a finger falling off, and we would never think about skipping, and I'd want to play with my teammates. But see, then you kind of needed
money.
to. You didn't have the exposure you have now. You didn't have a brand to worry about, and you didn't have a $32 million guaranteed contract. So I get it from the player's perspective, just like Jalen Smith. But you know what Jalen Smith said? He ended up being drafted in the second round by the Cowboys. So it kind of worked out for him. I mean, it's not guaranteed money. I don't think he got any guaranteed money.
Yeah.
And it's not the same contract he would have gotten. But it worked out for him. He's on a good team. But he tweeted that if I could go back and do it again, I'd do it again. And
that's good.
I love him for that, because I'm just like everybody else. If I could go back and play another one game at Indian Springs, not right now, but as I was when I was a senior.
Fun to watch.
Oh God, I'd love it. No, right now it wouldn't be fun at all. It would not. I wouldn't do it now.
Marcus Lattimore, the opposite. He said you guys made the right decision. So I mean, he wasn't even a quote unquote meaningless game. It was a meaningful season game. But he understands. Sometimes you get hurt, you don't come back.
But I'll say this, and I know we got to get out.
This quick segment.
Yeah, this quick segment. That. When you look at it from a business standpoint and a future standpoint for a Leonard Fournette and a Christian McCaffrey, it's just way too much on the line to not say, hey, look, I've had a great career. This game, this is going to determine whether we win a championship or not. I'm going to sit it out.
But there is a sadness about me, because we all romanticize about the time in college football when every game was so important, and we're funneling right into a time where it's playoff or bust.
It's coming.
And I'm scared of that moment.
It's happening.
Up against the break. Don't go anywhere. More Sportz Blitz Live, presented by Lee Marketing Group, right after this.
Purchasing a new home is easier than you think, and America's Home Place can show you the way. For over 41 years, we've built thousands of homes for people just like you. We guide you through the entire process from purchasing a lot, finding financial options, to putting the finishing touches on your beautiful new house. Come tour our showroom and see over 100 customizable floor plans. Visit us online at americashomeplace.com/TV for a free floor plan book. America's Home Place. We make building easy.
Boaters in the Lake Martin area know whether you need service, maintenance, repairs, a great selection of pre-owned boats, or a brand new Landau pontoon. Alex City Marine at the corner of 63 and 280 is there for you. Thanks to a record-setting sales year, Alex City Marine now has one of the finest pre-owned inventories they've ever had. Repairs, service, routine maintenance, for all your boating needs. See the pros the locals know. Alex City Marine at the corner of 63 and 280. Check them out online at alexcitymarine.com.
If you knew that underage drinking starts at younger ages than ever before, even in elementary school, you would talk to your kids about drinking right now, wouldn't you? If you knew that kids who drink are more likely to be involved in violence, school failure, or injury, you'd do what you could to prevent it, right?
Alcohol is a drug, and we need you to help us understand that before it's too late. Choose to refuse to lose your team to the dangers of underage drinking.
Meet the new Met of East Central Alabama, David Chabot. By new Met, we mean MetLife Auto and Home. With MetLife's 146-year reputation and David's 18 years of local insurance experience, you and your family get the best coverage rates and service for auto, home, life, or business. Ask about MetLife's Grand Protect policy. If your home were destroyed by a covered loss, MetLife pays the full replacement cost. No depreciation and no cap. That's the peace of mind that only MetLife can deliver. Meet the new Met, David Chabot of MetLife Auto and Home, 334-321-7250 or davidchabot.metlife.com.
This sale only comes around once a year.
The year is almost over, but Bice Motors in Alex City is going out big. It's the Big Finish 2016. Big savings, big selection, big finish. Save on every Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram in stock. All 2016s have got to go. Grand Cherokee, Cherokee, Compass, or Patriot. Our selection of Jeeps has never been better. Save up to $13,000 off MSRP on Ram 1500 Crew Cab.
Come see us in Alex City. BiceChryslerDodge.com.
Choosing a new roof or having to repair your roof can be very stressful. Preferred Roofing knows when it comes to your roof, you need not only the best product, but more importantly, you need a reliable and trustworthy roofing company to install it. That company is Preferred Roofing. Working for both commercial and residential properties, you can trust our licensed and trained roofing contractors. Don't wait any longer. Call us today at 334-202-5483 or contact us on the web at preferredcontractorsllc.com.
This segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Russell Do-It Center, offering a complete assortment of lumber, building materials, electrical, and plumbing supplies. Russell Do-It Center stores deliver first-class service, top-rate products, and competitive do-it-best pricing.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sportz Blitz Live.
If you want to tweet at us, by the way, use the hashtag GGD. We'll know what it means. You don't have to know what it means.
Exactly.
Oh, man. Unfortunately, I know what it means. Thank you so much for tuning us in this evening. I talked a lot about Alabama in the first hour and, of course, their upcoming playoff game. We'll switch gears a little bit. Brett, you were actually in attendance for Austin Wiley's debut the other day at Auburn. Auburn had a thrilling victory over Mercer. Really a game that it would have been very unfortunate if they let that get away after dropping one to a bad Boston College team.
They did, and Auburn didn't play well. The game before set a tied an SEC record with 21 threes against Coastal Carolina, played about as good offensively as you could play, and then you come back on a Sunday game and you play about as flat as you could play. Purefoy didn't even have a point in the first half. There was just a lot of oddities to that. Auburn played better in the second half, but still didn't shoot the ball that well. T.J. Dunnins had a decent game. Lang had a decent game. Mustafa Heron hit a little stretch right there where he had, like 9 points, ended up with 14 or 16 points for the game. But T.J. Dunnins hits one in the corner. It was 1.1 seconds on the clock to get the ball in. It was almost a 5-second count. Get the ball in. He spins and shoots, and he's able to win the game, as you can see, as the ones that are watching at home. Sees him put it in for the corner. But, you got to find ways to win games. And in old Auburn basketball, you find a way to lose that game. This team's athletic enough, it finds a way to win games. They improved to 8-2. They play Oklahoma tomorrow night, so we'll see how that plays out. And then they've got UConn coming up. They've got some games where Auburn, if they can play together and they can get it going, they can win these two games and look really good on the resume as far as your RPI and all that. But it's what I took away from this Auburn team, seeing them in person for the first time, they're very, very athletic, very talented, a lot of raw talent, a lot of youth. And then you get Austin Wiley in there. He brings a presence that Auburn hasn't had in a long time. Not only is he a big guy, he's very fluid. And when I mean he's smooth, already looks smooth, got soft hands, can receive passes, knows how to box people out. Now defensively he's got a lot of work to do, but I think for the most part, man, you can see what a huge upside this young man has.
He had a nice two-handed block in that game too. We've seen him in high school. He's got a lot of athletic ability, certainly. It's going to take a little time for the chemistry, and I think that's why you see, because this Mercer team's not very good. Mercer has, in the past, beaten I know they've beaten Alabama.
Beat Duke.
They've beaten Duke in the NCAA tournament.
Auburn played them in the NCAA tournament several years ago. So, to start off.
Traditionally, they're not bad. This year's version isn't quite as good. It's still, whenever you get a buzzer beater, it goes back to what I was saying. Even if Auburn had lost, it doesn't matter. But if you win, it doesn't matter. It's college basketball regular season. You just do the best you can.
Well, you lose these games if you're a bubble team. This is going to
hurt. I think for a bubble team, it does matter, Luke, because, again, like Andy said, if Auburn needs every win they can get. A Kentucky, North Carolina head-to-head matchup, they're going to be in the top 5, top 10 anyway. They're going to get their seed. It's going to move on. For an Auburn, Alabama, you better get as many wins as you can if you want any shot of trying to go to the NCAA tournament.
I cannot remember an offensive guy of his size at Auburn that was capable. That was actually, work.
He was like an athlete.
Mamadou Njai, he was fairly, adept offensively, but he was more of a defensive guy. Kyle Davis, of course, was more of a defensive guy. Every big guy that's come into Auburn in the last, my lifetime that I can recall.
You're talking about Pat Burke.
Pat Burke, Chris Bryant. These are not greats.
Who was the guy that was about 6'9"? He could shoot from outside. Had sort of the terrible cheesy mustache. Back in the maybe late '80s, early '90s.
John Kaler.
There we go.
Yeah, he
wasn't a center.
He wasn't a center, but he was a big man. He was 6'8"-ish.
6'7"-ish.
He was in that
He
neighborhood.
had a big shot against Kentucky.
Yeah, he did. One of the few wins we've ever had.
But certainly the one.
What if he still has that mustache?
He probably does. Just coming out of high school, should be playing high school basketball right now. He looked like, if you take nothing else away from this game, he looked like he belonged.
He did. And I had a lot of people talking about that. At the end of the game, walking out, that their take was, man, he already looked like he fit in, and that's only going to be a positive moving forward. He didn't look awkward. He didn't look like he was a man, somebody that was way out of his league that you could tell he's raw. He comes in. He's a 5-star for a reason.
Let's be honest. If he's playing on the AAU circuit, if he's playing these All-Star games, his high school teammates on those circuits are probably better than Auburn right now.
That's exactly right.
That's why Kentucky's so good every year. They bring in all these guys who are ranked 1 through 5 in the country, and they just keep getting to the national championship. They don't win it a lot, but they keep getting into the discussion because the basketball players are so much further ahead than they were years ago. It used to be, when he's a sophomore, he can help us out. No, these guys come in now, and they're already trained. You just have to put them on the court.
Mm-hmm. I'm impressed with Auburn. You can see that there's a different look to that team. They've got talent. Yeah, it's young in a lot of places. They start a lot of freshmen, but man, you can tell that Auburn's gone out and Bruce Pearl's gone out and got players that Auburn's not used to come to this team and play, and then they'll get better and better and better. And I'm excited to see how this team's going to progress. I want to see Auburn get better. I don't know what that's going to translate to as a record this year, but I want to see Auburn get better and see what they can do. I know we got Jason Caldwell coming up at 8:30. So Luke, the Alabama Clemson game, your thoughts on that game?
Alabama. If Auburn, everybody talks about how much Auburn needed Austin Wiley. Alabama needs either John Petty or Colin Sexton to come in because we shoot worse than stormtroopers. I've never seen, you know how the stormtroopers, they always miss Luke Skywalker.
And I mean, it is dead.
They got a scope on it.
They can't miss.
Alabama simply cannot score. They have no idea how to score. They don't know who to give the ball to
16
score.
to 50 from the field.
They just cannot shoot the ball. And it's one of those things where you can't, I don't know how you correct it. You don't correct it right now.
Yeah.
There's just nobody who can score on this team. And you go back to Dazon Ingram, who's probably the best potential scorer on the squad. And he was hurt last year, so that year of experience sort of goes away, and he's still finding his sea legs. But if this Colin Sexton kid can come in and John Petty can come in, I feel so much better about the future. It's ironic, I think, that it's going to be kind of year 3 where you see positive things for Pearl. I think it's going to be year 3 before you see positive things for Avery Johnson. I wouldn't necessarily, if I'm an Alabama fan, look across the state and say, well, Auburn's doing it. Why can't we do it right now? Because we don't have the horses that we need just yet. We're still dealing with some guys Anthony Grant brought in, and we just going to have to make do until you get somebody that can shoot.
Very similar.
Nobody on that team. I guess the one that puzzles me more than anything is Riley Norris. I saw him in the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game. He was unexpectedly good. I mean, you look at him and you think he's going to be a shooter, and he's not. But I thought he was more athletic then than he is now. And he finally got a 3. And Doug Bell was on the call for the game. I think it was on ESPNU for Alabama-Clemson, and he said they get it to Riley, and Riley was wide open. Nobody around him. He was wide open as you're going to get in college basketball. And he said that's where Riley Norris can hurt you. And he shoots it, and it's an air ball by 2 feet. I mean, it was so far bad.
Short or long?
Very short. Well, I mean, if it was an air ball, the long, it's going to go over the goal. But if an air ball by 2 feet easily, and from the top of the key, and it just sort of.
Did you go to
it was
Clemson
emblematic
game?
of the. No, I didn't go.
You didn't go?
I've got a 12-week-old, man. I don't go anywhere except here.
Just right up the street.
Yeah, I mean, it ain't just right up the street. Let me tell you, that baby crying is just right in the next room now. So I got to worry about that. But
that's true.
Alabama's going to have some issues this year. I was hopeful coming into it, but you're always hopeful coming into a season. But now that I've got 10 games under my belt, I realize there's nobody on this team that can score with any consistency.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's going to be interesting when Auburn opens up with Georgia at home. And Alabama opens up
at Mississippi State.
So
I think Alabama.
And they're not bad. They're not great, but they're not bad.
I think Alabama's probably hit 10 threes all year. They'll hit 10 against Auburn when they play them.
Of course, that's how it goes.
I'll take that bet.
And Auburn will shoot 40.
So. Yeah, up against a break here, but when we come back, hopefully we'll be joined by Jason Caldwell from AUTigers.com. More to come right after this.
How expensive can kids really be? All they need is love, and love is free, right? They're tiny. How much stuff can they really use? I'm still gonna get a new car every year and take the best vacations. Maui, here we come.
Life can surprise you. So can an Allstate agent. Only they can get you 2 safe driving bonus checks a year because every little bit helps. The good hands are doing more than ever before.
Call your Alexander City Allstate agent, Alice Palmer, to learn more today at 256-215-3833.
Do you know that C&T Electric offers a home protection plan for your electrical system? Are you wondering what this is or why you need one? Just like your heating, cooling, and plumbing systems, your electrical system needs to be maintained also. With C&T Electric's home protection plan, you receive annual electrical waived on all costs. Call C&T Electric at 256-234-0007 today.
Got your eye on a new Nissan? It's time to zero in on huge savings at Lynch Nissan of Auburn. 0% financing is back in a big way on many of your favorite Nissan models, but only for a limited time. Buy today and save up to $11,000 off MSRP on remaining 2016s as we make room for the 2017s. Get up to $5,000 off MSRP on the new Rogue SL or 0% for 72 months. Just click it and pick it now at LynchNissan.com. Lynch Nissan of Auburn, I-85 and exit 51.
Hi.
We're looking for insurance.
Let's see who's free.
When insurance agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a trusted choice independent agent is free to shop many companies for a better deal. Free to do what's right for you.
Did your team just win the big game? Are you looking for a unique way to honor a valuable employee? Lila's Engraving has you covered, offering a large selection of custom trophies and plaques. Lila's also offers cast aluminum car tags, custom engraved wine glasses, clocks, and wood cutting boards. They even offer custom framing for any art or picture as well. Lila's combines the best quality items with the fastest service around. With over 27 years of experience in the Alexander City and Lake Martin areas, Lila's Engraving is your only choice for custom awards and engraved gifts. Always remember, winners choose Lila's.
I'm attorney Dane Sharp. If you've been injured in an auto accident, don't choose an attorney simply because they have flashy television commercials and tons of billboards. Call a local attorney who can give your case the personal attention it needs and deserves. For over 20 years, I've handled hundreds of auto accidents, and I take pride in the personal service we provide and the results we obtain for our clients. So if you've been injured, give me a call today and put our team to work for you.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sportz Blitz Live, minus Luke Robinson now. Andy and Brett here with you, carrying you to about 9 o'clock. We were looking forward to talking to Jason Caldwell. Maybe we still will.
Yeah, I communicated with him about 7 o'clock, and he was tied up, but he was going to be on about 8:30, so maybe he's wrapping up what he's got going on, and we'll catch up with us here in just a minute.
We have talked about Auburn a time or two before. I bet we can probably carry the segment if we need to. But we were talking about Auburn basketball in the previous segment. We'll move over.
Let's dive into the game.
Talk a little bit about Auburn versus Oklahoma. The Sugar Bowl. Should Auburn be in the Sugar Bowl? We had a question tonight at 8-4.
By default,
absolutely, they should. I think they, maybe it's by default.
If Tennessee just beats Vanderbilt, they're in. So where would that have put us?
Probably the Citrus or where Tennessee
we wouldn't
go.
have finished third because Florida would have finished third and we'd have finished fourth. So who's LSU?
Would we have finished below Florida?
I mean, if Vanderbilt, I don't know. It's a good question. Just depends. Probably not. But it'd been, I don't know. That's a good question.
They got their head handed to them by Alabama, so I mean that helped. But
who would we have played though? Just for a little fun segment here.
That's a good question. We would have to have ended up in one of those. Capital One, Citrus.
Who's LSU playing?
Louisville.
Ooh.
Now, Bobby Petrino. That would have been interesting.
That would have been interesting, wouldn't it?
I'm not sure I would have wanted to play Lamar Jackson.
I don't think I would have.
But certainly
Are you more scared of Baker Mayfield or Lamar Jackson?
Mayfield.
And Florida's playing Iowa, correct?
Yes. I would have taken Iowa.
I would have drawn that one.
I mean,
out of Louisville, Iowa, and
I'm not sure Auburn's ever played Iowa.
I don't think so. Only one time playing Oklahoma.
No.
So, but anyway, I'll let you start diving into some of the numbers for this game.
All right, we'll talk about this a little bit. Of course, Oklahoma 10-2 on the year, dropping those two early ones to Houston and Ohio State. Other than that, they run the table. Playing pretty well. Got a pretty prolific passing offense when you really look at it. Number 3 in total offense, number 1 in pass efficiency, number 3 in points, 44.7 a game. Number 4 in the country, 51.6% of the time they convert third downs. That's scary. We always talk about how important it is to, third down stops for Auburn. That's been one of the biggest improvements of the year. Last year, Auburn could not get off the field on third down. This year, they've done such a great job of that, holding teams to 30%, 34% on third down. So that's going to be one of those big numbers. That's going to be one of those big matchups to watch during the game. Can Auburn prevent Oklahoma from converting on third down? Because this offense, they not only throw the ball well, they run the ball. 237 yards rushing a game. So they are not one-dimensional, and Auburn will have certainly their hands full. Something's got to give. Auburn gives up 17 or 15.6 points per game. They scored 44.7. Got to meet in the middle maybe at worst for Auburn.
For a little history buffs out there, the ironic thing is that Auburn and Oklahoma have only met one other time in their history. It was back in 1972. It was the 71 season, the 72 Sugar Bowl. And now Auburn and Oklahoma meet in the Sugar Bowl once again. Oklahoma won that game 40-22. It's the only matchup between the two programs. So two very prestigious programs in the history of college football.
Didn't see Pat Sullivan sitting out that game, did you?
No, didn't. So, and he didn't help us very much when
no,
he played.
He did not.
So, but all-time, some numbers. Sixth winningest program in national college football history is Oklahoma, 871 wins. Auburn comes in at 17th overall with 756 wins. So they've been to 49 bowl games. Auburn has been to 40 bowl games all time. So there's a lot of history between both of these teams, and you look at how many NFL draft picks have come out of Oklahoma. They've had 373. Auburn's had 262. They've had 5 Heisman winners. Auburn's had 3 Heisman winners. Here's something that's astonishing. I know that Oklahoma's switched conferences several times. Auburn's predominantly been in the SEC. Auburn's got 12 conference championships. Oklahoma's got 45 conference championships. I mean, that's spread over the Southwest.
Well, my goodness, they've won the Big 12 about 7 or 8 times.
I know. So
they ain't been around. It ain't even been around, but since.
So 45, it's amazing. 45 conference championships there. It's amazing. So
it should be a very interesting matchup. Auburn is by all rights pretty healthy. Sean White throwing the ball well, much like he did before the injury that he had to his shoulder. Cameron Petway says he's 100%. Kerryon Johnson comes out today, says he's 100%. It's kind of funny. Kerryon said it's almost like a new team.
He did. I read that too.
And really it is. I mean, Kerryon got hurt in the Mississippi State game, and really was never the same. Never really able to go. And of course, Cameron Petway not the same after that Vanderbilt
I'm
game.
excited to see a fully healthy Auburn team again.
No doubt.
To see what it can do. I mean, you're going to play a very good opponent in Oklahoma, and so I mean, I think. We'll find out just how banged up Auburn has been coming down the stretch. I mean, you look at the Georgia game, the Alabama game, and then the Alabama A&M game sandwiched in between. Kerryon Johnson's a trooper. He continued to play in all these games knowing that a high ankle sprain, the only way you get over it is just rest. And he knew that Auburn was thin back there, and he just kind of rose to the occasion and said, look, I can go. I may not be 100%, but I can go. And so you got to tip your hat to guys like him.
I think, obviously Auburn's defense has been a big story this year. What do you think this game has to be for it to benefit Auburn? Do you think it has to be more of a 24-21 game, or do you think Auburn can win a 41-40 kind of game?
I think that if you look at Oklahoma as a whole, I think this will be the toughest defense they've faced outside of Ohio State. Obviously, Ohio State pretty much embarrassed them earlier in the season. They lost to Houston out of the gate. That was another game that now you look at where Houston is. Look at the bowl game that they drew out. I don't think anybody expected them to be playing in that bowl game. But we'll go down some of Oklahoma's games. They started off 1-2 on the season, but I think a TCU team, they beat them 52-46. They beat Texas 45-40.
Texas and TCU not great.
Not great at all. I mean, well, look at Texas Tech, 66-59. I mean, they get in shootout games. Iowa State 34-24, Baylor 45-24, West Virginia they doubled them up 56-28, Oklahoma State 38-20. I mean, this will be the best defense they've played. all year. And Auburn comes in as a very stout defense, number 5 in the conference, number 20 overall in the country. And I think that it'll be a situation to where if Auburn is fully healthy and we can run the football against their 89th ranked defense, then I think Oklahoma could have the fate turned on them a little bit, and Auburn could control the way this game is played. So I think if Auburn holds them to 21, 24 points, I like Auburn's chances.
Yeah, you talk about the difference in conferences. This will tell you all you need to know. Auburn 348.4 yards a game giving up. That's 20th in the country. That's 5th in the SEC. Oklahoma, on the other hand, 440 basically total yards a game. Like you said, 89th in the country, 5th
that was like
in the Big 12.
That's what no
They're both 5th in their conference, but Oklahoma gives up over 100 yards more a game.
Well, that's the level of competition, and that's kind of what we're talking about with Alabama-Washington. You talk about how good Washington's defense looks on paper, and but who have they played versus who has Alabama played? Well, Oklahoma ranks 5th in their conference, but they end up giving up over 100 yards, almost 100 yards more a game on the total defense than Auburn does, and those were old Auburn-looking numbers from the last 6, 7, 8 years, right there, where we were ranked 89th in the country. And but now it's good to see what Kevin Steele's done with this Auburn team. Has them up there in the top 20 defensively. If Auburn can get their offense back on track, it's a hard team to beat. Auburn is a hard team to beat when they're rolling and scoring points and playing defense the way Kevin Steele's got them playing right now.
Oklahoma gives up nearly 30 points a game. You read down those scores. They can be scored on. That's not in question.
And their rushing defense is not very good. They're 54th in the country. So if you're an Oklahoma fan, you've got to be concerned with Auburn just lining up and saying, look, we're just going to ram it down your throat. And if Petway's healthy, Kerryon Johnson's healthy, well, that's what Auburn's going to do. I mean, Auburn doesn't make any bones about it. They'll throw when they have to throw. But if Petway's got it going like he did against Ole Miss, like he did against Arkansas and some of those teams, hey, man, I'm telling you, I don't think Oklahoma has faced a team like that runs the football outside of an Ohio State. And then you look at them on defense, their offense hasn't faced some speed rushers like Carl Lawson and Marlon Davidson and some of those guys that are going to be coming off the corner. Montravius Adams up the middle. It's going to force Baker Mayfield to make some plays. And Auburn's played good all year long. Auburn played the best team in the country to end the season. And they were down 13-9, and now they played horrible. But the defense kept Alabama in check for a half. Now Auburn's healthy, so let's see what you can do. I mean, this Oklahoma team is not a world beater by no stretch.
No, and -1 turnover margin, they will give the ball away. So Auburn, need to take advantage of that.
I look at a game that was way back in the early part of the season, the Ohio State game that they lost, 45-24. I'm not sure Auburn scored 45 points. I'll have to see how healthy this team is and what they do as far as their chemistry coming back off a break, but I could see it going similar to that. If I'm of course I got orange and blue glasses on right now, I'm hopeful, but if I've got it to compare somebody to, that's the game I'm comparing it to, because I'm looking at a defense that's comparable to what Auburn's got, and that's what Ohio State's got. And I look at what Houston did to them in the first game of the season. They could not block Ed Oliver up the middle. He wreaked havoc on them all night long, and he was really all he had. So
up against the break here, but when we come back, we'll finish the show. We'll continue these discussions. More Sportz Blitz Live right after this.
Purchasing a new home is easier than you think, and America's Home Place can show you the way. For over 41 years, we've built thousands of homes for people just like you. We guide you through the entire process, from purchasing a lot, finding financial options, to putting the finishing touches on your beautiful new house. Come tour our showroom and see over 100 customizable floor plans. Visit us online at americashomeplace.com/TV for a free floor plan book. America's Home Place. We make building easy.
Find everything you need for the perfect outdoor living space at Russell Do-It Center, like the Fire Rock Outdoor Conventional Fireplace. Smartly designed masonry systems that are easy to install and are less than half the cost of a scratch-built brick and mortar fireplace. Weber Grills, the best outdoor gas, electric, and charcoal grills, which always come pre-assembled. Yeti Coolers, premium coolers and accessories that are the ultimate in design, performance, and durability. Russell Do-It Center, experience and knowledge from the pros.
Excitement awaits you on beautiful Lake Martin. Alex City Guide Service can provide you with a charter trip of a lifetime. Licensed charter guide David Hare has over 20 years of experience on Lake Martin, specializing in live bait fishing for trophy-sized saltwater striped bass, largemouth bass, and spotted bass. Call Alex City Guide Service today at 256-401-3089 or visit them online at www.alexcityguideservice.com.
Your comfort is our number one concern. Advanced Heat and Air.
Advanced Heating and Air makes your comfort their priority for any season. Advanced Heating and Air is the region's train dealer and an Alabama Power Superior Solutions dealer that can save you money and energy with a new electric heat pump. Advanced Heating and Air maintains the region's best service team, so rely on us to make your comfort our number one concern. Call 234-5052, and we're there for you.
Gotta get to Gill's Auto Sales. We can finance, you got to get to Gill's. Selection and price, got to get to Gill's. Gotta get to Gill's.
Did you know that Gill's Auto Sales now features the Prestige Selection at their North Lake and Opelika locations? Gill's Auto Sales now has over 100 Prestige vehicles in stock. Newer models, low mileage with bank financing available. Come see the Prestige Selection at Gill's Auto Sales North Lake location and their new Opelika location. Gotta get to Gill's.
Yamaha is beating the field in just about every category of motorsport products, offering unbelievable performance, handling, features, technology, and at prices that are blowing everyone's mind, especially the competition. Visit Twin City Yamaha on Stage Road in Auburn.
Hi, this is Scott Tway with Twin Cities Yamaha in Auburn. Isn't it about time to put some...
Yamaha is beating the field in just about every category of motorsport products, offering unbelievable performance, handling, features, technology, and at prices that are blowing everyone's mind, especially the competition. Visit Twin City Yamaha on Stage Road in Auburn.
Hi, this is Scott Tway with Twin Cities Yamaha in Auburn. Isn't it about time to put some fun back in your life? Call us and see what we mean. 334-821-0439 or on the web at www.twincitiesyamaha.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sportz Blitz Live. Andy and Brett here, taking you home to 9 o'clock. We got our good friend Jason Caldwell from inside the Auburn Tigers on the phone with us. Jason, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, guys. How are y'all?
Doing really well.
Doing good.
We've been talking about, of course, Auburn and the upcoming Sugar Bowl. This Auburn team versus this Oklahoma team. We've been hearing so much about Auburn getting healthy. Bowl practice is beginning right now. Just kind of tell us what you've been seeing from the Tigers, and what does Sean White and Cameron Petway look like?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the key for them is that you talk about being close to full speed, being close to 100%, and the difference in this football team. That's the interesting thing about this Auburn team is Kerryon Johnson gets hurt first quarter against Mississippi State, then Sean White against Ole Miss. I mean, you go really only 4 or 5 games did this trio of guys play together, and it was really 4 or 5 before they kind of figured out the way to use these guys the best. And so I think it's very interesting to watch this team and to listen to the guys talk. You hear them talk and they say, hey, this is exciting, fun, getting after it. I mean, I think they know that with those guys healthy and having a little time off, this is a different football team, and I think they feel good about going into the Sugar Bowl, close to full speed.
Well, Jason, you look at it, and I guess you have to say that Auburn, struggled, I guess, during the middle of the season with the Ole Miss game, passing, especially in the first half. They made some adjustments and played much better in the second half. But, Vanderbilt threw the ball on them a little bit. I guess if this defense does have a weakness, that would be it, which it's not really that big of a weakness. But Oklahoma, that's their strength. You start looking at their numbers, they really throw the ball extremely well. Baker Mayfield, number one pass efficiency team in the entire country. They're going to throw the ball, and they're going to throw it quite a bit. How do you think Auburn fares, or what do you think Auburn has to do to kind of slow down Oklahoma's passing attack?
Yeah, the interesting thing is that Oklahoma does it, and a lot of it is down the field, vertical passing attack, which Auburn hasn't allowed a lot of. And a lot of reasons why is they've been able to get to the quarterback, so teams really started doing the short dink and dunk. And, that's what Ole Miss and Vandy both did. And, Chad Kelly threw for a ton of yards, and they had the ball a bunch. But, you look at it, and if you make somebody, throw it 10, 12 times on a drive, the chances are that you're going to make a play or two here or there. I think that's what you look at. Will Oklahoma change what they do? Ole Miss changed what they did. That was a team that did not do a whole lot of that prior to Auburn. And when they played Auburn, they were willing to take the tight end. And, that's the thing. Oklahoma, I don't know if there's another Evan Ingram out there anywhere, but they don't have one of those guys. And that was really the biggest mismatch guy out there. You saw Vandy, what Vandy did the rest of the year. They kind of found something in that day, and that's a much different Vandy offense from the rest of the season on than the one prior to Auburn. So I think it's a matchup you look at, and obviously Oklahoma, a ton of talent. D.D. Westbrook, big play guy. I think if you're Auburn, you feel good about taking your chances on them, having to make a play or two here or there other than giving up a big deep ball, because that's what Auburn's been pretty good at so far this season.
Jason, Stidham arrives on campus and practiced today along with KJ Britt and Malcolm Askew. Just talk about that a little bit, because I know we got a lot of people out there that were asking us about how did Jarrett Stidham look, how did these guys look just being out there practicing with the team.
Yeah, no pads today for Auburn. I mean, they've already gone 6 days, so they just kind of went out and kind of review day today because they've already started putting the game plan in. So really not a whole lot for those guys to do. They did some individual drills, did some of those things. So gave Jarrett Stidham a chance to throw it a little bit of individual drills, but not a whole lot for them to do really in 3 practice days. But it does give them a chance to kind of, as Gus Malzahn said today, kind of figure out, okay, what are these practices like? How are they run? What do the coaches, want to see out of guys? So it gave them a little bit of an introduction ahead of spring practice. And, this is really, probably more workman-like than the spring is, because they're able to have meetings during the day, watch film, do all these things. These guys, they'll get a head start on doing that. And in the spring, you got classes thrown in, you got all these things, and you practice maybe 3 days a week. Well, this gives them really a 3-day, and they were on, a couple of guys were on campus yesterday, Askew and Britt, to go through meetings. And so they get a chance to have a crash course in Auburn football ahead of spring practice. So not a whole lot for them to do right now other than just kind of get an introduction and kind of see how everything runs.
One more thing about Stidham, obviously Sean White has been hampered the last 2 years and with injuries. And, when Sean's healthy, obviously he gives Auburn a very good chance to win against whoever. Stidham comes in, obviously everybody heralding him as the number 1 JUCO guy, one of the top transfers in the country, if not the top transfer. Auburn is able to land him, bring him in. What do you foresee going into the spring? Because, I hate it for Sean White because he's proven that it's not by his fault, but he if you stay injured, you're not reliable. But Jarrett Stidham comes in highly touted, I'm sure expecting to get the nod at quarterback by choosing Auburn. I'm sure that's what Gus Malzahn and Rhett Lashley sold him on. What do you see going into the spring?
Yeah, I think you see competition because, I think it's easy to see from Sean White. You see a guy that's not going to give up his job without a fight, and I think that's what you're looking for. And I think if you're Auburn, what you do is I think for the first time in quite a while, you look at it and go, we've got 2 guys that we can continue to do the same things with at quarterback and on offense and not have to change it for one guy or the other. It's been a long time since we've seen that. I don't know the last time, you think back to, 2009, Chris Todd wasn't that type. 2010, if you have to go to the next guy, obviously you don't have another Cam Newton. 13, 14, Jeremy Johnson, not the same guy as Nick Marshall, so you change things up there. So I think for the first time you look at it, You saw how different it was this year when you have to change the offense, try to change it in midstream. It's very difficult to do and almost impossible. So I think what this does is gives you a little bit of a security blanket going, hey, whoever wins the job, we've got a second guy that we feel good about, a guy that can do what we want him to do on offense and can make plays, and you don't have to change your style, which I think we've seen the style kind of morph a little bit to throwing a little ball a little bit more, especially in the first half, setting up the run, and then if you can run it, then you lean on that. But I think it's going to be interesting to see kind of that development in the spring.
Well, Jason, we appreciate it so much. Before we let you go, you got a gut feeling about the Sugar Bowl one way or the other?
Yeah, like I said, I think with this Auburn team, with Sean White, Cameron Petway, and Kerryon Johnson, close to full speed, maybe full speed, I think this team can play with anybody. I think you saw in the Iron Bowl, without any offense at all to speak of, that they were able to kind of hold their own for a half. I think you put these guys on the field. We saw Auburn play really, really good during that 6-game stretch. I think this is an Auburn team that expects to go to New Orleans to win the game.
Well, Jason, we appreciate it so much. You have a Merry Christmas. Bring home a win from the Sugar Bowl and have a Happy New Year.
You guys see you. Have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Well, that's pretty much going to wrap up things on this Tuesday evening. Like I said, I think this is the last live broadcast for this year.
Yeah, we want to wish everybody out there a Merry Christmas and a wonderful start to 2017. And been a lot of fun this year, Andy. New Sportz Blitz logo out there, a lot of changes coming for our program and a lot of different things. We're excited about 2017.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. For Brett Pritchard, I'm Andy Graham. So long for now. We'll talk again soon.
If you currently have an FHA mortgage, this commercial is for you. Most people that currently have an FHA mortgage are working with Home Place Mortgage to refinance their current loan. Several items have changed to make now the perfect time to refinance. FHA has reduced the amount of monthly mortgage insurance. Current interest rates for FHA loans are at all-time lows. FHA has eliminated the need for new appraisal. Most people will be able to refinance with little or no closing costs. This is the opportunity that you have been waiting for. Call now to start saving.
Over the years, S&S Tire has grown into the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealer. S&S Tire offers the industry's best brand names: Michelin, Goodyear, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Firestone, and much, much more. The tire pros at S&S offer professional installation and the region's best price. In addition to your tire needs, S&S offers full automotive mechanical work for all your vehicle maintenance and repair needs with the area's most experienced staff. Visit either of our 2 locations on Cherokee Road in Ellick City or at South Street in Dadeville. At S&S Tire, we're installing peace of mind for every customer we serve. Every job, every day.
When you need plumbing service, call on the professionals at A&M Plumbing LLC. For over 20 years, our mission has been to provide the best possible service available in the industry, and we specialize in solving difficult problems. We offer a wide range of services, such as installation, service, repair, and replacement of common fixtures, water heaters, toilets, faucets, drains, sewer lines, and septic tank pumping and cleaning services. Unlike many companies, our septic tank services include field line testing. Our knowledgeable staff will be happy to answer any of your questions. So call A&M Plumbing LLC today.
No pest is too big or too small for Lex Wedgeworth Pest Control. Protect your home or business today from insects, termites, mosquitoes, and more. Lex uses only the latest state-of-the-art technology and equipment to solve your pest problem, including the environmentally friendly Centricon termite baiting system. Lex has been servicing the Lake Martin area for over 35 years, and he has a full staff on hand. Call Lex today, even if it's just a question. 256-234-6162. Lex Wedgeworth Pest Control. Smart solutions to your pest problems.
What value would you gain working with Lee Marketing Group? With 4 divisions under one umbrella, Sign Source, Lee Apparel, R&B Media, and LMG Baker Advertising Agency, Lee Marketing Group offers a comprehensive approach. From logo design and branding to ad placement and everything in between, LMG can handle it all. For ease of time, cutting-edge, results-driven marketing campaigns, think LMG. Lee Marketing Group, your comprehensive marketing solution.